Let's go to Calgary and bring in Laurie Williams, political science professor at Mount Royal University and political commentator. Of course, we bring on a lot here. Okay, so lots going on, a lot of players on the ice, lots of stuff to follow here. First of all, let me ask you about this statement of full support for the finance minister.
Well, it's obviously in direct response to the media reports. What I find, I think, a bit more interesting is that somebody obviously is giving information suggesting that his job is in jeopardy. It may be wishful thinking on the part of some Liberals who'd like all of this to go away. But this is certainly moving against a lot of the speculation that's been happening for some time now. I think we probably will see a shift possibly down the road, particularly if the ethics commissioner finds that Bill Morneau was in breach and that the Prime Minister was not. It might be at that point we see something different. After all, we're talking about a finance minister who lost track of $41,000, more than many Canadians earn in a year. And again, as a finance minister, somebody who should have been on top of this sort of thing, been aware of the possibilities of conflicts. It certainly raises questions around not just his family, but his own competence, frankly. And so I think that's what's been feeding the speculation, and the Prime Minister just wants to put that down for the moment, to say clearly that the consultation with Mark Carney is informal. Again, putting to the side questions about whether he might be joining the cabinet at some point down the road, and there may still be questions about that or overtures to that effect. But for the moment, the Prime Minister wants to suggest that the finance minister is part of the team, and they're going to try to move forward on other matters.
Yeah, and so you hear talk about Mark Carney possibly becoming the next finance minister and his high profile, and so there's a lot of kind of, as they say, palace intrigue going on, or maybe not at all. And this is why the statement comes out saying, no, we support him. What about what's going on this afternoon, which is the youth minister, Bardish Chugger, who was, part of all of this and was a key player in this contract with we as the youth minister, just getting hammered today by the Conservatives and the NDP and the Bloc over what she knew and when and who was involved. What do you make of her position in all of this, Laurie?
Well, again, I think we might see some questions around who ought to be held responsible for particularly questions about whether due diligence was done, who in cabinet ought to be taking responsibility for that. I think obviously the opposition is collectively are trying to focus their questions to try to raise, I think, bigger questions about whether all was done that should have been done. And of course, they're trying to keep this alive. I mean, clearly there's been a loss of momentum since the Prime Minister testified before the Finance Committee, and they're very much hinging their fortunes for the future on doing a better job of trying to hold the government's feet to the fire. I guess we'll see how effective that is. I'm not sure that increased intensity is going to do the job that they want it to do, but I guess we'll see how Canadians respond.
Hey, Laurie, always good to see you and get your take on these stories as they play out. Thanks so much for this.
Thank you, Todd.